Okay, so you see that. As you see on the screen, I have a command prompt. Let me relaunch it. The way I've done is the Windows key, and then usually there is a run button here. It's not here. What I do on the keyboard is hold the Windows key and then the R on the keyboard, and I type CMD there. So the way to go back to the root or C drive is CD slash, and hit enter. Takes me back to C drive. Yeah, CLS will help me clear screen, but we'll do that later part. A way to navigate to another folders. Let's say you want to see the list of folders that you have on the screen. So dir is a command that tells you the list of folders inside the C drive. Yeah. So these are all the folders. Let's go inside the folder called as Android. Yeah. CD, as you see here, this is a folder here called Android. Following, yeah, CD, and then A and D, and then instead of typing the whole thing, I can hit tab on the keyboard. It just auto completes. So that way I'm inside that folder. Yeah, I can do dir again to see what are the components or folders or files inside the Android folder, right? So as you see, the screen is full. I can do CLS to clear the screen. CLS stands for clearing the screen, and hit enter. It just clears up everything. That does not mean you have lost everything. You still have all those commands. You can hit the up arrow on the keyboard, and it will keep hitting the up arrow a couple of times, and it will take you to all the commands that you have typed so far. Or you can also hit the F7 key on the keyboard, and that will tell you the list of commands that you have typed. Clear so far? Clear so far? Hello? Okay.
So CD we have written
Change directory. CD, the command CD stands for change directory. Yeah. So if you want to change directory, CD, and then you can hit the tab on the keyboard, and it will navigate you to several other folders. You can also create a folder using command line. mkdir is the command, and you can say test in underscore AWS underscore maybe maps or diagrams. Yeah, just create that folder. Now the folder is created. A dir, as you see here, there's a folder created. Test underscore AWS underscore diagram. Again, I can navigate to that folder using change directory and say test and AWS diagrams folder, and that's where I'm in. CLS will be clearing the screen. dir, there should not be anything inside that because it's a new folder. Okay. So there are the basic commands. Apart from that, in the Linux also you get a lot of similar commands like ls and pwd. We'll take a look at Linux separately because I want to give you the basics of Windows and Linux. That's important for AWS and even for interview purposes. I hope you are making notes. There's another command called as copy. So it's called as copy. And then all you have to give is source and destination. What do you want to copy? Let's say I want to copy something called, let's say I want to copy the entire Android folder here, right? So it's copying all of that, see, one by one. 6 files are copied, dir. Which is, so when I say copy, and then I want to copy all the contents of C Android into where? Into itself. So when you do not mention a destination, it's going to take itself as the destination. So copy C whatever, so it's copying C Android into test AWS diagram. So usually the command is copy space source space destination. I can look at furthermore syntaxes by just doing copy space / question mark, hit enter, and it's going to give you all the syntaxes that you got in that particular command. It is not specific for copy only, but it's for Every command in Windows or even Linux has a manual like this, which gives a manual in this form. So you can use copy /a/b/b/d, and it's going to give you what each of those syntaxes does. And here is the way: copies one or more files to another location. You can also do dir space forward slash question mark, and that will tell you what that does with all those syntaxes. So you should be exploring all of those with syntaxes. It's not necessary that you should know, and you should know by these heart. It's not important. It's not important to know all of these by heart. But as and when you get a situation, you should be able to adapt and try to use some of those. Right? Okay. I'm going to quickly do a CLS, and then when I do a dir, I get all of those. Okay. What if I want to delete a.txt? Let's see what's there inside a.txt. So I'm going to simply type a dot and then a tab. It's going to autocomplete, and then hit enter. It's going to open up that file automatically. Yeah. Let's say I want to delete that file. I'm going to type del a.txt. It's gone without any confirmation. So when I do dir, del a.txt is not there. Right? So del is a command to delete it. Another command is remove. Oh, rem is used to comment. Rem is to rename. So if you want to, let's say, let's go ahead and okay, another command is explorer. Yeah. So in this path, see Android test underscore AWS diagrams. If I type explorer space dot, it will open that path in GUI format, the exact same path which was running on the command line, right? Rem is not remove. Rem is used to comment. Rem is used to comment in a particular batch file. So if you're writing a script, if you're writing an if-else script, then it is the rem is used to comment so that that section of the script does not run. Rem is not remove, but del is used to remove. So you can use del space forward slash question mark uh, to see confirmation. Yeah. Let's do this. Earlier, when we did del, it did not specify um, or ask for confirmation. Like in GUI, when you go ahead and start to delete a text file, delete this, it usually gives a confirmation, right? But on this screen, using the command prompt, it did not give a confirmation, which is really bad. Right? It should be asking for confirmation because we do not want accidental deletions. So let's try to delete some file using a switch called as /p /uppercase P, which prompts for confirmation. So del and then the new text file /p, hit question mark. You see, are you sure you want to delete that file? Delete yes or no. If I hit yes, it's going to delete it, and it's gone from the GUI as you see in the background. Right? Let's go ahead and create another text file. Um, okay, that's how it is. Okay. There is something called as environment variables. Please write it down. There is something called as environment or environment variables. What are environment variables? Before we talk about environment variables, I will talk about the commands where they are located. So all these commands called del is an exe, it's an executable, del.exe, ping.exe, CMD itself, the command shell itself is an exe. Yeah, all of these are executables, right? So when I launch something, let's say you create a shortcut. Yeah, I'll just create a shortcut of it on the desktop. Test.txt. Oh, okay. Send to desktop. Okay, great. So as you see, test.txt has a shortcut over here. You right click and go to properties. It's gonna show where this file is located. It is located in C Android test. That is the place where it is located. Okay, good. So when I launch it, it's gonna pick it up from the parent folder, which is C Android. Correct? Now that means the properties of this shortcut has an attribute called as the parent value, right? Or the actual folder name or the target. So that's where it's going to pick it up from. Similarly, there are other exes or binaries, any other file has a root path like CMD. It is located somewhere on your computer. CMD.exe, it's a file, it is located on your computer. All these commands that we are typing in, like dir, mkdir, um, CLS, all of these are executables which are located somewhere on your computer performing a certain function. Del.exe as a piece of code written inside it, and it's performing those functions, right? And it's located somewhere on your computer. Let's quickly try to find out where cmd.exe is located. Okay. Now I'll just go to C drive and search for cmd.exe. It most probably will be located in C Windows System 32, and that's where the path is. Yeah. You can also try searching on your computer, but that is the path, cmd.exe. There are other commands as well, like msconfig. It's still taking a while. I see somebody dropped off. Right, as you see, it is located over here. cmd.exe is located over here, right? But when I do start run and then cmd, it automatically looks at that location and then opens it up. But if you see in the top, it is see here, C Windows System 32. This is exact location for cmd.exe. It's on the top here on the banner. See Windows System 32.exe. Getting it? What I'm trying to ask you or think about is that when I launch test.txt, it knows where to pick it up from. It knows where to pick it up from. But when I do start run cmd and hit enter, how does it know where to pick up cmd.exe from? C Windows System 32 is already there. So it is automatically going to C Windows System 32 and picking up and executing cmd.exe. Or any other command for that matter, mkdir, dir, so many commands are there. How does it know that it has to go to that path and pick it up from? Right? Those paths or those directories are mentioned in something called as environment variables. Where are the environment variables? Let's look at. Okay. So to look at the environment variables, we have to click on Start. Right click on my computer, go to Properties. It's going to open this. Right. You can also open this by simply typing in sysdm.cpl. Hit enter. Or System Properties. CPL stands for Control Panel. Right, it's going to pop up this. Go to Advanced. Here you will see a button called as System Environment Variables. Click on that, and then if you scroll down somewhere here, you will see something called as Path. Double click on it, I'm going to copy all of this, yeah, copy all of it and put it in a notepad, right? I'll see bunch of paths. C program files, AMD, app, bin, this is one path. System root, system32 is one path. System root is one path. System root, system32, WBEM is one path. So as you see, there are so many paths that are defined over here. So many paths. So what happens is when you do start run and CMD and hit enter, it's gonna search in each of those. System root is nothing but C Windows. So if I just copy this and do Windows R, paste it here, it will take me to C Windows. System root is C Windows. So whenever you do start run and type something here, like comp mgmt.msc, it simply searches in each of those folders, and if it is there, it's going to execute it for you. If it is not there, it's simply going to give you some error message and say that the path is not found. So this is comp mgmt.msc. So if I just type some random number, it says Windows cannot find. This Windows cannot random.exe does not exist in any of those paths. Is it clear? Shanti, is it clear? Hmm? From here once again I should tell. Okay. This time sysdm.cpl. Okay. Okay. You will see advanced button on the left side. On the left side. Advanced is there. From there. Good. Okay. I'll do a cd slash to go back to root and type cls. It will clear my screen. Okay. Moving further. This is not the end of command lines. I will introduce more and more commands to you as and when I recollect and things. So I will be, I suggest that you make a separate page with commands heading and then keep writing all those commands so that you will have all the commands in one single page and not scattered all over your book. Okay. So yeah, ipconfig is another command that is used to find out the IP address of your machine, right? If I scroll up a little bit, the IP address that I got is this one, IPv4 is this is the IP address that I got from my router. Subnet mask is this one 255.255.0. Default gateway is 192.168.1. This is the IP address of the router. Default gateway is the router's IP address, the one that you have at your home or in your office or your corporate office. Default gateway is always the IP address of the router. Yeah. ipconfig/all is going to give you more information about the network card. So as you see, there's a lot of difference between the output of ipconfig and ipconfig/all. I'm using a wireless LAN adapter and my IPv4 is still the same, subnet mask is same, and default gateway. So apart from that, there's some more information that I'm getting, right? Yeah, I'm getting DHCP server. DHCP server is the one who gave me IP addresses. So what happens is when you boot up your computer, it needs IP addresses to communicate with the internet and rest of the devices on the LAN. And it's going to communicate only if it has an IP address. So who gives it an IP address? It's not going to assign one to himself automatically. It does not happen like that. So there's somebody who gives an IP to the devices on your network, and the devices could be your laptops, servers, computers, workstations, mobile devices, tablets, PDAs, anything that has a capability to communicate to the internet and the network will get an IP address. So, and those IP addresses are given by DHCP. DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. The IP address of the DHCP server in this case is 192.168.1.1, which is again my router, which is handing out the IP addresses to my machines. Good. DNS servers. Thank you. Well, I would really like to get time to time feedback so that will help me understand that you are understanding these concepts. If you have any question, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question, or put that in the chat. No problem. Thank you. DNS server is also as important as DHCP server. The responsibility of DHCP server is to hand out IP addresses to your devices on the network, whereas DNS servers will help you communicate with the internet. Every time you do an internet query, you go to Google, Yahoo, check your mails on Gmail, downloading certain things, all of that will need DNS servers. DNS stands for domain naming service or domain naming server. DHCP stands for dynamic host configuration protocol, right? Every protocol will use a port number. Every protocol has a port number, yeah. So DHCP uses a port number, DNS, yeah. DHCP uses 6768. DNS will use 5353. All of this is important to implement in cloud, and you will see that no, I have not started AWS yet. You are here to become an AWS specialist, I understand that. But without these concepts, you will not be able to excel or even touch AWS concepts, because you have to modify the routing tables, you have to modify firewall, access control list, you have to build machines, Linux, run commands. So these basics are actually helpful for building your foundation on information technology, not cloud. And this foundation will help you excel in cloud as well. So when you have to initiate a communication between two instances in the cloud, you have to open firewall ports. And those four firewall ports you can only open if you know the ports. And even for interview, people will ask, what is the port number for DHCP? What is the port number for DNS? Right? How does DHCP work? How does DNS work? So you should be understanding those concepts. Yeah. Let's not be in a hurry to start AWS. We will be starting AWS eventually, and that's what we are here for. But let's be patient. Yeah. DNS. DNS stands for domain naming service, and that helps the request that you're taking, or that request that you're initiating from your server, and it takes to the internet to resolve your queries. To give you a simple example, or to talk a little bit more about DNS, let's say you're typing in google.com and simply launch the browser now, and tracer is different command to talk. So simply launch the browser and um, need extension. Okay, and let's say I'll just simply do google.com. Yeah, it picks up a website. So how did it actually come here is the question. How did it actually come here? How does it know that it has to pull up this browser for me? Let's take a look at that. Yeah. Every time you send a request from your Google, from your laptop, it goes to the preferred DNS server, which is this 202.538.23. It goes to your preferred DNS server. So all the transactions that are happening to the internet from your laptop are in the form of packets. Each packet is sent to the DNS server, 202.53.8.23 in my case. That is where all my internet traffic is routed to. And again, who is the DNS server is given by my DHCP server. My DHCP server gives me who the DNS server is. So all my packets are going to 202.53.8.23. I'll try to make some pictures here, draw some diagrams to help you understand the topology of the network flow. So let's say that is, that is your laptop. Okay, whatever, that's your laptop. And you want to go to a server. You want to go to a server which is hosted by Google. It's google.com, and so you have to go all the way out there. Now, but you have certain restrictions, and you're connected at your home, and you have a small Yeah, you have a small router at your home, and this is the one which is handing out the IP addresses, correct? So for all DNS requests, what will happen is your client, your laptop will go to router. Router will also have a preferred DNS, which is handed out by whom? It is handed out by someone called as who? Your internet service provider. ISP gives you an IP address. ISP hands out a preferred DNS to your router. So the router takes this request forward to the preferred DNS server, which is located in or located with your ISP. Just goes here. ISP has all the information about who google.com is, right? So it has something called as name to IP resolution. It has a database. It has a database of all the names versus what their IP addresses are, and it hands out the IP address to your router. The router then hands it over to your laptop. Now your laptop knows that www.google.com is equals to some IP address x.y.z.a is the IP address of google.com. For all communication to happen, IP address is required. You can of course browse even without name. Yeah. So let's try to figure out what is the IP address of google.com. I'll simply type google.com here, and that's my IP address of Google. And if I copy it and paste it in my browser, it's gonna work. It has to work because all the communication will eventually happen with IP address. That's your google.com. Right? So I'm just pasting the IP address, hit enter, it takes me to google.com. Right? But we as human beings cannot remember IP addresses. How many IP addresses can we remember? It's easy to remember facebook.com. It's easy to remember that. It's simple, nice, it's human friendly. But what is its IP address? Facebook's IP address, I don't know. Right? Let's go ahead and type in facebook.com. Okay. Yeah. So it's gonna give me, it's difficult to remember this. Right? And these IP addresses may change. What if Facebook decides to change the IP address of Facebook? Right? They will never change the name, but they can change the IP addresses, right? Is it clear? Shanti, is it clear? Isn't IP addresses come from more than one server? IP addresses coming from more than. Are you talking about DHCP?
Yeah, DNS server and DNS server. The IP address I'm talking about, and also MAC address.
MAC addresses do not change. MAC addresses remain constant for a network adapter. Network adapter.
But DNS servers is constantly changes, right?
DNS server may constantly change. Yes.
Yeah, that is come through the server, like just one server.
Okay. So, okay, let's take a look at IP config on my machine. IP configs all. Okay. So I got DNS server here. Who gave me the DNS server? My router. So my DNS server is configured on my router. Now who configured this? My ISP. My ISP, whoever it is, Earthlink, Verizon, whoever it is, they have actually configured it, right? So they configure it and I get it from them. Now this IP address can change, may change, may not change. It doesn't matter. But the functioning of DNS does not change. Is that your question? You may get it, you may not get it. Any question, Shanti?
No, I do not.
Is
Yeah,
it
it is the same question I'm asking. So I see the three different addresses. That's why I'm asking why do you have three addresses? That is from one server or more than one server?
oh, they have more than one servers. Okay, okay. Now I understand what you're saying. So DNS server, you have three IP addresses. Why do we have three? Is that what you're asking, right? This is what you're asking, isn't it? Why do you have three DNS
Yes.
servers? Okay. One is a primary and other two are alternate. So
Okay.
all your queries will eventually go to 202.53.8.23, which is the primary. And if there's a problem with that, if it cannot resolve, then it go to the next one, and then it will go to the third one. In a round robin way, it will go. Good. Hello. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, a couple of things that I want to give you how DNS works. There's lot in detail. There's lot much in detail about DNS and DHCP. So I would really like you to go back and you know talk about these two. You need to go back and do some research on this too. How DNS works, how DHCP works. Can you configure your own DHCP server? Can you configure your own DNS server? See, and that's your homework. How DNS works, how DHCP works, and tell me your experiences tomorrow so I can help you understand further more concepts. Port number for DNS is 53. But there are different kinds of operating systems that have evolved, and Windows again has so many different kinds of operating systems. Just increase the font here. Windows has so many different kinds of operating systems and still divided into server-based, server-based. Or rather, open Excel and start writing there. It's going to be better. All right, let's talk about Windows. Oh my God. Okay. So there is server-based operating systems and client-based operating systems. Yeah. Server-based operating systems and cloud-based operating systems. So far, in AWS, I have not seen someone creating a client-based operating system. So far, why? Because that option is not available. I'm not sure if that will be available in future, but for now, there is no provision to create client-based operating systems. What are they? Let's take a look at that. Yeah. So the history of Windows is that it started with Windows 3.0, Windows 3.0, and then came Windows 3.0, then Windows 3.5, then Windows 4.0. It was just an evolution. They had just evolved over time. And one operating system that really changed the way computing did, or Microsoft did computing, was Windows 2000. This really changed a lot of things because they introduced a lot of new services in Windows 2000. One of those most important services is called as Active Directory. They also introduced a protocol called as Kerberos in Windows 2000, which was used for authentication purposes. Kerberos is an authentication protocol. Kerberos works on port number 88. Kerberos works on port number 88. So they introduced Active Directory, they introduced Kerberos, and that ways they made their operating systems more secure as far as authentication is concerned, and they gave a lot of services, new services along with Windows 2000. And then they developed furthermore, like Windows 2003 came, then Windows 2003 R2, and Windows 2008, Windows 2008 R2. R2 stands for release 2. Then came 2012, Windows 2012 R2, Windows. Now today, most of the enterprises are using 2012 or 2008 R2. Either this or this. And that is clients. We talk about that, right? So these are all server-based operating systems. Right? Now you also have Windows 2016. We'll take a look at that when we eventually jump into cloud. Windows 2016 is the latest operating system from Microsoft on the server front. So, yeah, on the client front you got, Windows XP, yeah, we know where Windows Millennium existed. Windows 2000 was there. When 2000, then Windows ME was also an operating system. Windows Millennium, now Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, and then incrementally 8, 10. Am I missing something? No, right? One thing here is that these are the major operating systems. Along with operating systems, what you also get is flavors of operating systems. Like you want to buy a car, you narrow down to a particular car. That car also has flavors, isn't it? Diesel version, petrol version, different flavors. Yeah. Now this also has flavors. Windows 2000 has standard edition, enterprise edition. Yeah. Like what is the, if I do WinVer is a command, WINVER, that will tell me the operating system on this machine. This is Windows 7, but which flavor? Professional. WinVer. I hope you are making note of all the commands on a separate page. Right? So there are certain flavors. The Windows 2000 has standard edition, data center edition, enterprise edition. Like in Windows XP, you got a home edition, media center edition, professional edition, different flavors in there. Okay? Any questions?
Okay. No, I do not.
Okay. This might be pretty basic for you, Shanti. Do you already know all of these things?
I do know all of these things.
Okay, okay,
That's
great. Okay, great. I'm happy that this will
yeah, because I did like information security, I did also security and IP addresses, everything.
you know IP address. Shanti, you know IP
I'm sorry. Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
Okay, 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 good. Good, that's nice. So tomorrow we'll talk a little bit on virtualization, but I really want you to do certain homeworks on the things that I gave you. Um, how DNS works, how DHCP works. Yeah, take a look at a couple of videos on YouTube or Google around. If you need me to discuss those concepts tomorrow, then definitely I'll be able to pitch in there.
Okay.
I would also like you to work on OSI layers, which I think you already know about these from network background, right?
Yes.
OSI layers, okay. But still, go ahead and take a brief overview of what they are.
And also packet switches, everything.
Packet switching, okay, great, great. Um, okay, IP, V4, subnet mask, ports, and protocols. So that's your homework, and a quick 1 hour of time should be sufficient for this. Tomorrow, we'll be creating an AWS account. But I don't want you to get bored. We'll keep on switching here and there. Tomorrow, we'll create an AWS account for you. We'll also create your first virtual machine in the cloud. That way, you'll be interested in the session. And the day after that, I want to take a step back from cloud and show you virtualization. I have a server here. We'll connect to that. Um, Shanti, what is the configuration on your machine? Laptop configuration?
Laptop configuration. What do you mean?
How much RAM, CPU? Okay, just take a look at my screen. A simple command to check the configuration on the machine is msinfo32. Just type msinfo32 on the command prompt or do a start run or type msinfo32 anywhere, hit enter, and it's going to take you to this screen. The first screen will give you lots of details about your operating system, right? What is the operating system? What is the version number? What is the description? Who is the manufacturer? What is the computer name? Who is the manufacturer? Hewlett Packard. What is the model number? System type, processor, BIOS version, right? All of this. And you also see this one. What is the physical memory? What is the amount of RAM on my machine? So the two important concepts or two important components are what is the amount of RAM and what is the processor that you're using. These are the two things that you should be talking about when somebody asks you what is the configuration on your machine.
Okay.
The command is msinfo32. Now take a look at that and tell me what is the processing capabilities, processor, and the RAM.
RAM is 6 GB. So.
Awesome, 6 GB, okay. What is the processor?
And total physical memory 5. So physical 2. Virtual memory is 11 GB.
Okay, we don't have to worry about that. There's a component called as processor, P, processor. It should be 7th or 8th from the top, maybe 10.
That's Intel Core i5.
i5, okay. What I want you to do is download a software called as Oracle VirtualBox, okay? And also download um, any operating system. Download, let's say Windows 2008 R2. Download this. Download Windows 2008 R2. Microsoft will give it for free for 6 months. It's an evaluation period. So I
Okay.
give it to you. So you can download that, keep it ready, or if time permits, you can install that on the virtual box and see how virtualization goes. But that will be on the day 4, where I will show that to you how to do that on my machine. But tomorrow we'll
So
start with an AWS account for you.
this Windows I want to download as a virtual machine.
Yes, you have to download the virtual box,
Virtual.
Oracle VirtualBox, and this one Windows 2000 R2. You download the ISO file, Windows
Okay.
2008 R2 ISO. Just Google for that. Okay. Any questions?
No, I do not.
Okay. There's a lot of interesting and fun things to come up, and this learning will really be interesting. So stay connected. Okay.
Do I almost like did like a AWS console the sign up for the web server? Oh.
You want to sign up? You want to sign up for AWS?
Almost. Not yet. Asking details of the payment.
Yes, you have to put in your credit card, and they're gonna charge you like $1 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just for verification. But make sure that you create a, make sure that you have clicked on sign up for free button. No, not just the sign up button. There's a button called a sign up for free.
Okay. And I already also did also the lab thing also.
Lab, I didn't get it.
What is the labs for the this web services?
What is it trying to do? I didn't understand.
Even lab is included.
Lab is included in the AWS. Okay, you want to show? Should I make you the presenter, Shanti? You want to show me what the problem is?
No, no, there is no problem. I'm asking a quick class.
Quick labs. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is awesome. If you can do quick labs, that's amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
You can sign up for quick labs as well. Yeah. But that is for a definite period of time, 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and you should be completing those quick labs. Yeah. Quick labs. Yeah.
Because I see there is a free of nice project that I can do
Yes.
or something or. Okay.
You can do lot of labs for free on your own AWS account. So I'm going to show you the right way.
Will it be possible to provide any material for this like commands on the Linux commands or
Linux command?
documentation? Yeah.
Your voice is choppy.
Sorry.
Your voice was choppy. Can you please repeat?
Would you mind provide the Linux command?
Yeah.
Have the
Sure. Sure. So once we do with the virtualization, we'll go ahead and install a Linux operating system tomorrow, and there I will show the Linux commands.
all right. Okay.
Okay. So unless you have any questions, we'll stop it for today, and we'll keep it for tomorrow then. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.